Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Akash Samar.
I am Jassi Maruk with the sport.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Venezuela blames Trinidad for a new oil spill. Heritage insists there's no evidence of a large leak.
Moody's lifts TNT's outlook from negative to stable. Finance Ministry says the country is back on a stable path.
Angelo Tobias's mother returns to Goodwood, grieving and praying, but confused over her toddler's disappearance 1 month ago.
Coming up in sport,
it's a real magic moment.
Canada earns its first ever World Cup point, causing local fans to join the celebrations.
If you're making outdoor plans, the weather is probably already saying yes, but it can still throw a few surprises our way. Details in the weekend weather forecast.
The Venezuelan government claims a new oil spill, believed to be larger than last month's incident, has reached its coastline and is now urging Trinidad and Tobago to take responsibility.
In response, Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal says the government has deployed military air and sea assets to conduct reconnaissance in the Gulf of Paria. Caracas says satellite analysis shows a hydrocarbon slick originating near Trinidad and Tobago moving into the Gulf, heading toward the Venezuelan coast. Satellite images show the spill would have started around June 10th. Dr. Rudal Munilal and Foreign Affairs Minister Sean Sobers met with the Venezuelan ambassador today to give an update on local investigations. This country has asked for further details on what Dr. Munilal called the purported oil spill revealed by the Venezuelan government. Meanwhile, Fishermen and Friends of the Sea has raised concern, saying coastal communities are again learning of a potential environmental incident from external reports and satellite images, and is calling for full transparency and urgent disclosure of all data as investigations continue. Meanwhile, Heritage Petroleum says investigations have so far found no evidence of abnormalities across its operations. The company said field inspections, vessel surveillance, and checks with the Coast Guard have not detected large amounts of hydrocarbons at sea, but investigations remain ongoing. Well, the Finance Ministry announced today that Moody's has upgraded Trinidad and Tobago's outlook from negative to stable, while affirming the country's Ba2 rating.
The ministry notes that this follows the IMF's Article 4 consultation, which shows that both institutions have now independently confirmed that TNT is regaining momentum. According to a statement from the ministry, Moody's cited stronger external prospects and proactive debt management, including the January bond issue that eased pressure from a $1 billion US bond due in 2026. The agency also noted that financial reserves remain strong, equal to about 32% of GDP, with debt levels well under control. It says hydrocarbon production is expected to rise from late 2027. Finance Minister Dave Tanku described the decision as a defining moment, saying it shows the country is firmly back on a path of stability and renewed confidence.
Well, for the first time since her release from police custody, the mother of Angelo Tobias Plaza returned to Cambridge Trace in Goodwood, Tobago, where her son was last seen alive.
Khalifa Tobias joined relatives and community members in a candlelight vigil, marking 1 month since the toddler's disappearance. The families say they are still clinging to hope, even as they continue to grieve.
With candles in hand, relatives of Angelo Tobias Plaza gathered to mark 1 month since the toddler's disappearance. The service, organized by the Hunter Search and Rescue Team with the blessing of the family, took place near the seaside house where the child was last seen. Among those present was Angelo's mother, Khalifa Tobias, making her first return to Cambridge Trace since her release from police custody on May 15th. The 22-year-old was accompanied by her mother, Nisa Tobias, who cautioned the media to respect her daughter's wish not to be filmed. She said her daughter has been grieving non-stop indoors due to the public backlash and needed a moment to mourn. She said the family would leave if their privacy was not respected. Angelo's stepfather, Shannon Miller, has been charged with the toddler's murder and remains in police custody. Hunters Captain Shamsuddin Ayub urged communities to accept the responsibility of being guardians of children.
we have to protect the young ones. Fail to protect the young ones, them are the futures. We don't know what our futures makes, but we have to, at all costs, try to protect the young children of this nation and all nation at large, because, as I said, they are the future of tomorrow. We all were small at one day, and we was protected by our elders, parents, and community, and we are asking everyone to do the same.
Tobias told CNC3 News returning to the community brought back feelings of distress and anxiety. Tobias said Miller's alleged actions have left her deeply hurt and confused, as this was a person she had trusted. Baptist pastor Brian Patrick prayed for the authorities to create policies to safeguard young people.
Remember, Lord, the children, Lord, Heavenly Father, oh God, the men and women of tomorrow, Lord. Help us to find policies, oh God. Help us to find projects and plans, oh God, that will encircle them and protect them, Lord. That will shape them, oh God, to be the men and women of tomorrow, Lord, to lead this island and to lead this country, Lord, by extension.
With Angelo's body remaining missing, Hunter's commander Shamsuddin Ayub is clinging to hope that he may still be alive.
Well, we always have hope. You always have hope. You know, hope is something that you will never give up until we see the reality, you know. But presently, we are still hope that, you know, he may be alive some way and he may return at one day.
Angelo's relatives say they plan to light candles on the 11th of each month for 1 year if Angelo's remains are not found. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
Still to come in the news.
They don't like we and they will never like we. But I want them to know that we don't like them and we will never like them.
Laventille West MP Karim Marcel rejects claims of racism. He insists his words were aimed squarely at the government.
AmJam's president demands a tougher stance on white-collar crime, but while warning leaders that divisive talk could derail investment.
Coming up in sport, several men in maroon knock off personal milestones as the West Indies wins the first T20 against Sri Lanka.
The best gifts for dads always cost less at Detour. This Father's Day, Detour gives you the best choice, quality, and value for dad. Infinity premium shirts and regular slim fit dress pants up to 20% off. Plus casual shirts, polos, jeans, pants, shorts, swimwear, and activewear up to 15% off. Plus weddings and grads are in the air. See Detour's finest selection of suits and blazers, including 6 grads and grooms combo offers now for $375. All footwear is up to 50% off. Plus most Van Heusen now 15% off. Only at Detour.
Well, Government Senator Philip Alexander is defending the Attorney General's controversial use of the term 1%, arguing that the phrase is globally associated with wealth and privilege rather than any specific ethnic group.
John Jeremy's comments have triggered strong criticism from members of Trinidad and Tobago's Syrian Lebanese community after he warned that government's anti-crime efforts extends to gangs and individuals who may have previously considered themselves beyond the reach of law enforcement. Businessman Gary Aboud was among those condemning the remarks, describing them as discriminatory, hateful, and racist. However, speaking with reporters outside Parliament today, Alexander rejected suggestions that Jeremy's comments targeted the Syrian Lebanese community.
In Trinidad and Tobago, we have had for quite some time a disproportionate allocation of wealth, and there's been a disproportionate use of law enforcement where wrongdoing was concerned. And I think that that is what the AG was referring to, that certain people, when he said, seem to have the keys to the city.
When asked whether the wording used by the Attorney General could have been interpreted differently, Alexander maintained there was nothing objectionable about the language. Meanwhile, opposition Senator Faris Al-Rawi dismissed attempts to broaden the interpretation of the phrase, arguing that the Attorney General's comments amounted to an attack on an ethnic minority group.
Let's talk plain in this country. There's no room for discrimination. There's no room for statements otherwise. And if you're going to apply the law, you don't preface it in the manner in which it was said. I expect more from the Attorney General. He's a very experienced man.
However, Independent Senator Courtney McNish said he did not interpret Jeremy's comments as offensive or targeted at any particular ethnic group.
In tonight's Business Watch, 2 former senior banking executives are pushing back against claims by the Prime Minister that local banks facilitated foreign currency transactions linked to criminal cartels.
Meanwhile, AmCham TT is calling for stronger action against white-collar crime while warning that attacks on groups within society could undermine national unity and investor confidence.
Andrea Perez-Sobers has more.
Former banking executives are questioning allegations made by Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar that current and former senior officials at local banks facilitated foreign exchange transactions tied to criminal cartels. Speaking on the issue, former Managing Director of Answer Merchant Bank and former Republic Bank Managing Director and CEO Robert LaHunt said if the Prime Minister possesses evidence of wrongdoing, the matter should be referred to law enforcement authorities. LaHunt warned that allegations of that nature could damage confidence in Trinidad and Tobago's banking sector internationally.
You are also putting a stain on our whole banking profession. Because when you make statements like that, people are reading it from outside of Trinidad and Tobago. And it is sounding like if you people, like our banking system is very porous.
Meanwhile, former Scotiabank TT Managing Director Richard Young also weighed in on the issue. Young says that during his time in the sector, foreign currency transfers were subject to proper documentation and due diligence requirements. Turning to other business news, President of the American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago, Anna Henderson, is urging authorities to pursue white-collar criminals while cautioning against rhetoric that divides sections of society. Speaking at AmCham TNT's 33rd Annual General Meeting and Business Forum at the Hilton Trinidad on Friday, Henderson said the country must strengthen confidence in both its justice system and its economic institutions. She warned that if TNT is to attract investment and create opportunities, leaders must avoid targeting or attacking groups within society. At the conclusion of Friday's Annual General Meeting, Henderson was re-elected president of AmCham TNT. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez-Sobers, CNC3 Business Watch.
Laventille West MP Kareem Marcel is tonight defending his comments made at a political rally last night, which some believe provokes divisiveness with a racist undertone.
But Marcel says that was not what he meant. He's now receiving support from his political leader, Penelope Beckles, who says the party is one of unity. Jensen Leven has more.
Whenever they say PNM people on social media, the me is the new N-word. They hate African people, they hate black people, they hate people from Bissau, they hate people from Silas, they hate people from Maloney, they hate people from Lakota, they hate people from the trail line, they hate people from Arima, they hate people from Kainaj, they hate me.
Laventille West MP Kareem Marcel insists his comments on Thursday night at a political rally was not a divisive and racist attack and says anyone suggesting otherwise is wrong.
I stand by my statements. My statements were 100% that this UNC administration, by their actions and by their words, have perpetuated a level of viciousness, of hate, of discriminatory conduct against the people of my constituency and of the people of what they have termed PNM constituencies.
When asked about the comments and the belief that some considered it to have a racist undertone, political leader of the PNM and opposition leader Penelope Beckles says, from a party perspective, racial divide is not part of its ethos.
Listen, let me just make it clear. We celebrate 70 years as a party this year. We have always stood for interracial solidarity, and that has always been the mantra of the People's National Movement. I spoke with him before, and I knew he was going to. I mean, I have not heard exactly what it is he has said.
Further defending his comments, Marcel says there are others who have said worse things, yet they are not chastised. He adds that there seems to be disdain for PNM constituencies, and his comments was rooted in defense of that supposed attack.
My response was directly to that, to say, one, PNM people, Laventille people, based on this government's conduct in the last 14 months, they do not like us. The UNC would never like us. And I am certain that the people of Laventille West would never like the UNC either. And I stand by that.
Marcel adds that they, he referred to in his speech on Thursday night, is strictly the government members and not people of East Indian descent.
I don't think that's one of the interpretations that people are getting. I think that is one of the false narratives that are being pushed by fake UNC pages and pushing out. The they that I refer to, anyone with any level of common sense in Trinidad and Tobago would know that the they I refer to is the UNC government. Not even UNC supporters, no, the UNC government.
CNC3 News reached out to leader of government business Barry Padaras for the government's response, but up to news time there was none. Other government ministers also opted not to comment on Marcel's statement. Jensen Lavend, CNC3 News.
A deadly home invasion last night has claimed the life of 13-year-old Krishan Kanhai and left his father and stepmother wounded. The couple's 5-year-old son escaped unhurt after he ran to a neighbor's home for help. The family sells doubles, and investigators are probing robbery as the motive. Police say around 11:41 p.m. officers responded to Tramline Road, Union Park East, after reports of loud explosions. They found all three of them bleeding from gunshot wounds on the floor, but the teenager was pronounced dead at the scene. Neighbors say the couple, Krishna Kanhai and Leela Pariag, recently built their home and moved into the area less than 6 months ago. They say they were quiet, hard-working people. Investigators recovered 3 9mm shell casings.
In a separate incident, 32-year-old Dylan Bunsey of Warden Road, South Oropouche, was shot dead by a lone gunman at his home last night. Earlier, Bunsey had returned home with his girlfriend, and the two were engaged in a heated argument when around 11 p.m. a gunman walked up to the front gate and opened fire. Bunsey was shot in the head and neck. His girlfriend was not injured. At his home today, relatives were heartbroken and called for justice. The father of one worked with his father in the family's auto repair business at their home. Officers are continuing inquiries.
Well, for tonight's People Say, we asked, do you agree with the decision of the Tobago MPs to support the SOE extension?
Here's what some of you had to say.
I feel the SOE will help the crime what's going on. It could stop the crime, as well it can increase the crime, but then some measures are to take.
Well, what I would say in the last SOE following up, the say crime on a whole, I ain't seen the percentage that we're seeing that the crime rate went down. Me personally as an individual, not seeing it, but I mean, from the perspective that they sit, they're saying that it's a, what to say, it's looking from their perspective.
If the SOE is done in a way that would even keep the youths off the street per se, don't just call a SOE and the youths have nowhere to assembly or something to do constructive, because that's what causing all this uproar in the country. The youths are just too idle.
Yes, but I really like how they extend it and thing, but it also was to come out and do the work properly, because there are plenty of innocent youths out here too, you know. But so much murders and crime taken. But so much murder and crime. And little children, the murder, you know.
I do support that, and my reason for that is because of the state of the country right now with crime, with drugs. The state of the country right now is catastrophic.
Too much I think going on in the country, girl. Too much of murder and killing and thing, kidnapping and thing, you know. Yeah, so maybe try it again to see if it will happen now.
Still to come in the news, a Chagona's vendor says the mayor's viral post about his potatoes crossed the line. He's now threatening to sue.
After the break, we find out how long this settled weather pattern sticks around and the latest on seas across the region.
KC Gingermint, your trusted and natural wellness. Now with healthier options. KC Gingermint with honey and lime. KC Gingermint with orange and KC Gingermint with lemon. KC Ginger, honey, lemon, lime, and orange. Natural and trusted for generations for soothing sore throats and digestion and boost immunity. Get your new KC Candy Gingermint extended range today and breathe naturally.
Okay, let me see you Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right. Now step forward, now step back.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Shake off, let me see you rock off.
Question: how much does a funeral go for these days? I guarantee the figure you're thinking is way smaller than the actual cost. Because even though life is priceless, death is real expensive. But CUNA Caribbean's Family Indemnity Plan can help for things like sudden funeral costs, plus the other bills left behind that could threaten your finances. And imagine, for a monthly payment of less than $70, you could cover up to 9 family members. And you don't have to take a medical exam to sign up. So don't stick. Get the Family Indemnity Plan. Why? Because it's a good thing. Trust me. CUNA Caribbean Insurance. For all people. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. It took a long time for the House of Representatives to settle down and conduct the business of the people today as the Standing Finance Committee met in preparation for Monday's mid-year budget review.
The SFC's duty is to conduct a line-by-line interrogation of the national budget to approve every dollar of government spending before it becomes law. However, as we show you in this report, procedural matters led to some arguments in the House before they got down to business.
It was anything but a smooth start to the Standing Finance Committee.
We have no idea what is going on.
It took almost 20 minutes to actually get to the first line item. At first there was confusion on if variations and supplementations should be done together or separately, and then another debate on who the opposition can ask questions to as it relates to budgetary allocations.
Is it that they are now attempting to say that ministers can't be questioned and the questions have to be directed to the technocrats?
I was very clear that I was seeking a clarification.
Finally getting down to business when it came to the judiciary and money for debt servicing for a loan taken in 2021, commotion erupted again.
Chair, I am at a...
Mr. Chairman, I am not asking the Attorney General. I'm relying on Standing Order 84.3.
I answer the question.
Hold on. Now, opposition MP Comimbert asked if he could get answers from the technocrats of the ministries who assist the ministers during the SFC, which earlier today was revealed to be permissible by the standing orders but not usual practice. However, the committee's chair blocked it.
Right? To rein in unruly behavior. You cannot subject. Unruly? Yes, unruly, and I've used that term quite deliberately. You cannot subject the public servants to cross-examination. That is an untenable proposition.
And then when it went to money for the industrial court,
the Attorney General does not have any control over the industrial court.
Industrial court. Which part of the Constitution is that?
It's a superior court of record.
Industrial
court judges are appointed by the cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. What separation of powers?
With a back and forth, it took 2 hours, including a 20-minute break, to get through merely 3 line items.
Mr. Speaker, I apologize for any interruption.
Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
Well, as Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku defended the Finance Bill 2026 in the upper house today, some independent senators say parts of the bill could end up putting too much pressure on citizens.
They're also calling for more transparency and stronger enforcement. Independent Senator Dr. Marlene Atts questioned whether the bill will really deliver the fairness the government promised. She warned that added taxes and penalties could weigh heavily on households and businesses that are already struggling.
Every new fee or reporting rule may appear manageable on its own, but when layered one upon the other, they create a cumulative burden that affects the cost of doing business, the cost of housing, and ultimately the cost of living.
Independent Senator Dr. Desiree Murray also raised concerns about the bill, warning that some provisions could place unnecessary burdens on landlords. But when it comes to the sale of unlicensed pharmaceutical products, Dr. Murray said she's supporting stronger penalties.
I therefore call on the government to consider extending the penalty increases beyond the second schedule to include prescription drug offenses, to strengthen the enforcement apparatus, and to integrate customs intelligence on suitcase trading. There are bigger fish to fry.
She said unlicensed vendors exploit public trust, but consumers are the ones who ultimately bear the risk.
Well, Attorney General John Jeremy says legal costs incurred by the state have dropped sharply under his tenure. During the Standing Finance Committee today, Jeremy said attorneys retained on his instructions have invoiced the state about $34 million since he took office.
He contrasted that with approximately hundreds of millions in legal fees paid between 2022 and 2024 under the previous PNM administration.
2022 to 2023, approximately $246 million. 2023 to 2024, approximately $147 million. I think something is wrong with that. This comparison, I believe, to be a critical indicator of the difference in the approach to fiscal prudence.
However, he also revealed that some inherited legal claims are being reviewed because of suspected irregularities, including cases involving individuals who were reportedly dismissed from state employment but continued receiving payments.
I have a long and extensive figure, some of which contains names of persons who were apparently dismissed by the state, ostensibly so, but remained on the state's payroll. I do not know how that has happened, that came to happen.
An additional $82 million in supplemental funding for fiscal 2026 was approved for the Office of the Attorney General. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles says the People's National Movement is prepared to organize its own independence celebrations if government cancels the National Independence Day Parade for a second consecutive year, arguing that the annual event is too important to the country and its history to be abandoned.
Well, speaking at a PNM public meeting in Laventille last evening, Beckles expressed skepticism that the August 31st parade would proceed this year, noting that preparations normally associated with the event appear absent.
If you go to the savannah, you will see that the North Stand still up. They have not been practicing for any parade. So don't surprise yourself if you're going to hear all kind of things, all kinds of excuses they're going to give you so that there will not be a parade.
Her comments were reinforced by opposition MP Stuart Young, who questioned government's intentions despite funding being earmarked for Independence Day activities in the mid-year budget package.
Young noted that approximately $2.5 million had been allocated for Independence Day celebrations in the $2.9 billion supplementary appropriation, but he said he remained wary that the event could still be scrapped.
State of emergency continuing past then. Let me take a bet. Let me take a bet now what happened with Independence Day Parade. And if we force them to have it by us taking the bet, good. Because that is an important part of Trinidad and Tobago's celebration.
Government has not yet indicated if, like last year, the Independence Day Parade in Port of Spain will be cancelled for security reasons. is now time for the weather forecast with Sigoni Mohammed. And Sigoni, there's a really bad flu sweeping through, and I'm wondering if many people might be considering maybe a sea bath to help them recover this weekend. What kind of conditions can we expect?
Well, if you're heading to the beaches, tomorrow is going to be the best day to do so. By Sunday, not so good. And I'll tell you why in the forecast. But we do have something big to talk about, which is a super El Nino that's happening, and it's a conversation all around the world. So let's check in with that, because scientists around the world are closely monitoring a strengthening El Nino in the East Pacific. It is a climate pattern we've been monitoring that can influence weather as well, far beyond its point of origin. For Trinidad and Tobago, El Nino typically means less rainfall during the wet season. And the Met Service says those conditions are expected to strengthen through this year. So think of it as if the El Nino is putting a slight brakes on the rainy weather across our islands. So we may not see as many wet days as usual, but when rain does come, it can still be heavy enough to cause flooding. So communities should still be prepared for heavy downpours, flash flooding, and the impacts of extreme heat in the months ahead, because that is what this El Nino is going to bring for us. It's going to take some time, and we have a lot of time before that all starts to develop. Right now, what we do have in the short term for Trinidad and Tobago is relatively dry, fair, and stable atmospheric conditions. Lots of sunshine today, and the temperature was packing a punch into this evening. It's relatively clear out there, and we'll see lows dipping down to the mid-20s. Not a lot of showery activity, but an odd shower is still in the forecast. Into this weekend, we're still monitoring an area over into the Gulf. That's that yellow X that we have on our screen. So it has a low chance for development over the next few days. If it does or doesn't develop, it's still going to be a rainmaker for parts of the United States, well away from where we are in Trinidad and Tobago. What we're monitoring right now is a low-level trough, which will be bringing in some wet weather for us by Sunday. So into tomorrow's outlook, it's nice and dry and sunny for the most part, but we'll still see a quick passing shower. Sunday conditions do become increasingly cloudy for those of us in Trinidad, and we'll see some showery activity building as the day progresses. But then it's all back to sunshine. Midweek, however, we do see another trough or another bit of wet weather coming into play, and the temperatures will still be running hot into this forecast. So for Tobago, another warm day ahead. We see that trough moving in with a couple of thunderstorms in the forecast for Tobago overnight into Monday. It clears out, but then midweek hits us again. Another bit of wet weather, usually in the form of a tropical wave. So we're seeing similar conditions happening here. Sunshine, showers, sunshine again. In terms of what's happening offshore, no big change in the forecast. Our winds are still pretty strong out there, so we're anticipating an occasional chop in the nearshore areas. And for those of you heading to the beaches, spring tide is still very much in effect into this weekend. So Ria and Akash, if you're heading out there, you want to be mindful that you still have to exercise caution if you want to have that sea bath, and be mindful of what's going on for those of you with a fishing interest and all you sunbathers also.
Sunday sounds like my beach day. I like a little rain at the beach.
Day.
No, I like a little rain. The water is warm.
I don't feel like you like to go in the water.
No, I do.
Oh,
that's
okay.
it important.
Rain on the beach. I try to avoid that. Thank you so much, Sigoni. That's Sally was still to come in the news. The Paris Borough Day Parade brought out the full force, from protected services to pageant queens, but you won't believe what stole the show.
Discover the taste of tradition with Fine Choice Meats. Our products are made with locally grown chickens, raised on a healthy low-fat diet with no added hormones or steroids. Our commitment to quality guarantees a delicious and nourishing culinary journey. From our farms to your family, choose Fine Choice Meats.
Tune in to Betterments with host Base, Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. for a program that educates and is solution-based. Base tackles the issues that matter to you, providing a platform to speak your mind and find solutions. That's Betterments with Base, with a focus on education and resolution. This is all about making things better for you. So if you want to make a difference and have your voice heard, tune into Freedom 106.5 FM and join us for Betterments with Base, Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Better for you. Only on Freedom 106.5 FM, where we believe that your voice matters.
Dennis Lawrence header was easily the most important goal in our nation's history.
It was a moment that united a nation, built on the biggest gamble in Trinidad and Tobago football.
Sometimes you have to be a villain to be a hero.
But 2 decades later, what happened to the legacy?
Not only have we failed, we've regressed.
From the Edge of Glory, a repeat of the epic documentary, June 20th on CNC3.
Welcome back. A roadside vendor is threatening legal action against Shagwana's mayor, Faik Mohammed.
In a pre-action protocol letter sent today, Rajendra Ali claims the mayor defamed him by alleging he was selling potatoes scavenged from the Forest Park landfill in Claxton Bay. Ali's attorney, Bimal Maharaj, pointed to a Facebook post made by Mohammed last week. While the post did not mention Ali by name, it included a photograph of his stall on Nasalu Ramaya Road, which he has operated since April. Maharaj argues the mayor offered no evidence to support his claim. He referenced a receipt showing Ali purchased a pallet of potatoes from a Freeport food distribution company. The attorney says the widely shared post damaged Ali's reputation among business associates and regular customers. Mohammed has been given 2 days to remove the post and issue an apology and retraction or face a lawsuit seeking compensation. Well, Chief Justice Ronnie Boodoo Singh says he is prepared and ready to work towards improving the quality of the justice system with the help of other stakeholders.
During his feature address at the Law Association's biennial law conference at the Hyatt Regency Conference Center today, Boodoo Singh reminded judicial officers of their responsibility to serving the public. He also outlined his intention to work alongside legal professionals in creating a more seamless, efficient criminal justice system.
Do we run a justice system to manage rules and compliance, or do we manage a justice system to resolve disputes? Is it about rectifying or punishing for lawyers' errors or judicial errors?
Boodoo Singh also turned his attention to the use of AI tools in the legal profession, noting that such technology should be used with caution.
We should not wish AI to be deciding cases for us any more than we should wish AI to decide what laws Parliament should enact or deciding how public funds should be spent.
Boodoo Singh said while AI software is useful in compiling information and analyzing data, it should not be used as a substitute for legal experience and basic human reasoning.
2 monstrances stolen from the St. Mary's RC Church in St. James earlier this week have been returned. Parishioners arriving for early Mass today found a black bag on the church steps. Inside were the sacred vessels valued at $15,000 along with $100 and a note.
The monstrances, one large and one small, were taken in a robbery just days before the Corpus Christi observance. Parish priest Father Emmanuel Pear immediately contacted police. Parishioners say they're thankful the monstrances used to hold the host during Eucharistic adoration are back where they belong.
It's time for sport now. Canada, USA and Mexico have the eyes of the world on them, but across the pond, another global spectacle has bowled off, Jassy.
That's right. The ICC Women's T20 World Cup is off and running, and our women in maroon, they begin tomorrow. Their head coach gives a status report after this break. And also after the break is where we deliver our weekly smorgasbord of sporting activities. Your weekend sport wrap and much more is next.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
We are more than headlines, more than stories on a page.